Can here with my Patreon sheets, Collage digital download sheets for February. And just want to run through those with you for a minute, give you an idea what you get. If you're at any tier of my Patreon, you'll receive these sheets. And not only these sheets for the month, but also the previous months going back a couple years. So lots of digital downloads there for you. So just jumping right in, these are, I always have a date and day. This time they're all on one sheet together using these little pink and red and warm colored little watercolor blocks that I have put the dates and the days on for you to use. I have the month in a few different sizes, along with some little odds and ends like these little robot couple here. Snakes, this 2025 is the year of the snake, so I put a little snake with some hearts on there, some little red handprints, just a few little odds and ends there to use. I have a page of robots and straight from my sketchbook, and some little phrases like recharge or short circuit, things like that that you might want to use in your planners or journals. I have, this was actually a spread in my sketchbook where I was trying out some new gouache paints and just playing around with those, and I just kind of like how the page looks. I just went ahead and just made a sheet for you of that you can use to collage or whatever with. And here's some more things from the sketchbook, some swatching, color mixing, and this is some like anatomical or cellular looking watercolor experimentation. This is kind of just a pattern sheet that I did with markers and some other little watercolor play. This is the type of stuff I really like to use in collage, so I just thought I'd share some of that with you. I've scrounged these, collected some originals, and just thought that those would be fun to use for collage. You might like to use those as well as I do. I especially love this red script here, done apparently in a red fountain pen. I've made a sheet of labels. I love using labels on various things, so I've made a sheet of those for you to use. And then I have made some things specifically sized for the Hobonichi, but you could use them for anything. So these are made to fit in the A5 cousin size monthly grid pages. So I will record things in here, but then inevitably there's some days left blank, and these can be cut out and used or sized to fit in those boxes for a calendar. I think they would probably work on most any calendar though, any kind of standard calendar. So those I just thought would be fun to use, or even on a journal page or planner, whatever. So they're just kind of a collection of some of my artwork and some backgrounds and some different things. And then this sheet is what really inspired it. And I have the 5-year journal for the Hobonichi, and unfortunately I have a lot of missed days in 2024 that I'm going back and catching up. But I kind of wanted something to put in on the days that I didn't know what to write as I was catching it up. And rather than leaving them blank, I wanted the look of them being filled in as I approach, as I get to them in 2025. And so I made these that fit just right in one of these little boxes of a section of the 5-year journal. So these could also be used, of course, in many other places or in other journals, but they are sized correctly for that if you print them out as is. And then I have a sheet of tinies. So I have the dates and days tiny. I also use a Hobonichi Weeks, and I do enjoy having the smaller version. If you use an A6 size, you might also like the smaller version. So those are nice to have. I made the labels smaller. I have this, just the random watercolor sheet that I used for the dates, but I have it by itself just without the dates, so that you can use it as is or cut it apart, whatever you would like to do with that. And then I have the robots in a tiny version. So that's the sheets for February. Hop over to my Patreon if you would like to receive those. The price is very nominal for getting 10 sheets of collage sheets. So go check that out if you're interested. And if you want to stick around, I'm going to use some of these in my journals to do some journal play today. So if you want to stick around for that, pull up your own planner or journal and have a play with me. I'm going back and using those little strips to fill in my some of my gaps in my 5-year journal. I'm kind of choosing color according to what's already on the page previously, and just going from there. I'm not doing a whole lot right now, but I will do some more as I go back through this later. Now I'm jumping over to my Hobonichi Cousin, and the weekly pages I'm using as for my memory keeping journaling. And as usual, I'm a little behind on that. I like to play catch up, and I'm just going ahead and filling those in. I really enjoy having just the week overview. It's a very manageable amount to do for me, and that's what I'm going to spend the rest of the time playing with in this. And then at the end, I will give you a little flip through of my pages. Just working back and forth through these pages, these weekly spreads, just adding to, adding some writing, some labels, some small bits here and there. And generally, as I work, I just get smaller. I leave space for some writing. I don't do lots of writing typically on these. And I do like the look of a very full page. So I just keep adding to until I get the page filled up. As you can see, when I come closer to completion, I start doing more writing and also more just plain embellishing the pages. Not really worried about, I've already got all my photos in and all my things that kind of represent the week. So I'm just filling in with basically space fillers after I get the writing done. Also use the dates, the date little decorations work really well in here, and sometimes I do those ahead and sometimes I leave those for later to use as space fillers. I don't necessarily worry about getting the date on every single day, but it does kind of help orient me to have them here and there scattered on it. Then I can tell which week it is that I'm looking at. I also bring in some washi tape just to kind of help fill those remaining spaces. There's not a lot left here, and I like to put it in more than one place on the page, kind of scattered around, just kind of helps bring that whole spread together. here's my finished memory keeping pages in my Hobonichi cousin, and through the month of January, using my printables and some printables of other people. This is Susanna Bryant, who I recently became aware of and have gotten some of her printables. Really enjoy those. And otherwise, I think they're mine. I did use some old dates which are now available in my Etsy shop. Otherwise, they're the printables from my Patreon page. So looking at, this was the first week, the first day of the new year. Week number 2, week number 3, week number 4, and then the final week in January up to where we are at present, which I've left space for the current events. And then in my, I've also, see if I can find a few places in my 5-year, which I'm working on catching up on. I have also used those printables. Now that I'm looking for them, I won't find them. Okay. There's one. Oh, back here somewhere. There's one. So that's how I'm filling in some of those days, just so that it looks more filled in and I don't have to go back and try to, recreate something to write. So coming along in that. So hopefully you take a look at the printables and enjoy them as well if you're one of my patrons. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.